Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. If you've been looking for the video on how to drill a well, take a look at this video. You will be amazed at how easy this is, and I promise you that I'll walk you through every step and you'll be able to have your own free water. This is the power of the Harbor Freight 2-inch mud pump. Let's kick on the water and just watch. This is one of the most rewarding projects you can do. I was so surprised at how easy this project is to get free water.
Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. We are going to dig a well and show you the fastest way to get water. And there's a couple of different methods. You probably watched lots of videos, so have I. But this one I think is going to really help you get down deep down into the ground, whether you're in clay or sand. I believe it will work in clay. We are in a sand base. There is a layer of clay down about 15-20 feet. And there's also a layer of peat moss that's down there. The peat moss is harder than the clay, but we'll go ahead and get through that, and I'll show you what we're going to do for that. There is, of course, some hand digging. You've got to do some prep work. So first we're going to start with the shovel, then the post hole digger. But let's get started. We need to get the area prepped. So we're going to start with the shovel.
Whether you're digging in clay or sand, you need to start a small hole. And we just need to get down a couple of feet. Then the post hole diggers will take over. They really do a quick job of getting down deep.
So we always want to dig as deep as we can with our hand tools. Post hole diggers, they work the absolute best.
Post hole diggers work quickly, and you'll notice right away, can you see how the soil has changed colors? This is peat moss, and I'm digging through that peat moss. It is actually a very hard substance. Let me bring you a close-up of that.
Can you see this? You see how dark that is? This is peat moss. And it's got some moisture in it, but not much.
Dig as far as you can with your post hole diggers. You should have a little hole and shaft that looks like this.
So this is 10 feet of 3-inch pipe. I made a drill bit on the bottom of it. We're going to use the 3-inch instead of the 4 to start our shaft. I'll sink this down here. Perfect. Some more material. So what I have is a 3-inch T, and we'll be able to put this on the top of that pipe if it's getting stuck, and we can twist it back and forth, and those teeth will dig down through that peat moss. So with the teeth on the bottom of this is a 10-foot section of 3-inch. We should be able to drive this down using the pressure washer and the mini jack. And what we'll do is If it gets too hard by just jetting it, we can put this on the top and we can twist it back and forth. We should be able to drive that down deeper. Okay, I'm going to set up the mud pump and we're going to give that a try. On the mud pump, I did cut some teeth in this 1-inch pipe just in case.
Okay, let's review where we are. Remember, we used the hand tools to get this first piece of 3-inch PVC down this deep. Now we're going to fire up that mud pump. And this is a 40-foot section of 1-inch pipe. I cut the teeth on the bottom just in case it got stuck, but I don't think we'll need it. We're going to push this down until it hits the bottom. Then I'm going to go and turn on the mud pump. When I turn that mud pump on, watch what happens. As soon as I fire up that mud pump, you can see the 1-inch pipe filling up with water. And I mean, it's really got a lot of power, a lot of pressure going down into that well. The amount of pressure that we've created is going to blow that dirt out and up through the shaft. It's going to push that dirt out of the way and allow us to sink this 3-inch shaft down all the way. You'll notice as I shove that 1-inch pipe down, the 3-inch pipe begins to drop. This goes quick. So using the mud pump, I sent that 1-inch pipe down almost 40 feet, blowing all the dirt and debris back up through the shaft. Now I'm going to try to push this 3-inch pipe down. I started to twist it and it started to go down, but let's go get that T and put it on the top. That gives me a little bit more leverage to twist it, and I'm just going to sink it and it's going to drop like a rock. Look at that. It easily drops down 10 feet.
Not bad.
Now it's time to add another 10 feet. So we're going to glue up a coupling, put on another 10-foot piece of 3-inch PVC, then we'll fire up the mud pump one more time and sink all of this down. So we'll be down 20 feet at the end of this process. I'm using an all-in-one cement. It holds that coupling and pipe extremely well. Once you set that and it welds, it's permanent. You'll also notice that I've got a pipe wrench holding the first piece of 3-inch PVC. This is important. That is so soft down in the ground right now that you could easily drop the first shaft, especially as you sink the second shaft on top of it.
Nice. Okay, let's go ahead and put this jet down in here. Remember, that's coming from the mud pump, 2-inch reducing to 1. We've got 40 feet of 1-inch pipe. Let's put that down into our 3-inch shaft.
The mud pump works so good, and the reason why is because we are reducing the outlet, the discharge of the mud pump, down to 1 inch. It creates so much pressure. Notice as I push the 1-inch pipe down, the water changes color. You can see it changes a little bit darker. That means it's digging and pushing that debris up. It's also coming up through the hole itself around the outside of the pipe. You can tell when you get down deep enough because the water will turn clean. You can see it's still kind of brown. I'm still digging through that clay. That is clay that I'm digging through. And it's pushing right through there. So I know that you can do this in clay as well as down here in the south. Don't try to force your shaft down. Let the pump do the work. Notice, you can see I'm almost 30 feet down now. It doesn't take long at all. I need to get back up higher on the ladder, get more leverage to push it down. And you can see I'm looking at what's coming out, and it's looking good. This is the water-bearing sand. This is where the water table is. It's down there about 30 feet. you'll know when you are in that good sand that holds the water. And it becomes like butter where it's so easy for you to push it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this shaft out, and we're going to go ahead and sink the rest of the 3-inch down. Then we're ready to put the well point in and hook up the pump. Things are getting exciting now. I was able to push that 1-inch pipe down 40 feet, and now I'm just pulling it out. We're almost ready to set up the well point and hook up the pump and see if we have water.
I don't want to hit my camera. It might. Yeah. Right now we're almost 20 feet. We're using a mud pump from 2-inch to 1-inch. We're reducing that outlet to 1-inch, and it creates tremendous pressure. So I stopped here. I thought I was going to cut it off, but if I push on this, you can see I can still go down. So it's really soft down there, which is great. I don't know if you heard that, but it's really soft down there. That's great. And I can actually pull it back up, go down more. So we're almost 20 feet. Yeah, looking good. So that's 20 feet of 3-inch pipe that I sunk down using that mud pump. Setting up the well point. You can see I've got 2 pieces. These are, I guess, 3 feet long, so 6 feet, maybe they're 4 feet long. And what we need to do is cut off one of the bottom points, because we're going to put these 2 together and have an extra long well point. So let's just cut the bottom off. So there's going to be our point, and we're just going to glue these 2 together with a coupling. This is 1.25-inch pipe, 1.25-inch well point. Got an 1.25-inch coupling. We're going to just slide it right on there. Nice. Same thing on this one. This is an all-in-one cement, so it's got the primer built into it, but I'm not that worried about it coming apart down there. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Slide this so you can see it. Let me put this down here. We've got our tip of our well point. It runs all the way down, so we've got a lot of water collection. If we can get this well point, that point, and this entire, I guess this is 8 feet below the water table, this is going to work great. It's going to work really, really good. Let's go over the well point. Well point. See how it's got a tip on the end of it, a little point? This is 1.25-inch pipe, and you can see all the little slits in here, all the slots. We've got 8 feet of this. We coupled it together. What I did was cut off the point of another shaft and just coupled them together. You can see it just runs all the way down here. Then we had to, remember it's 1.25 inch, so we had to adapt to 1 inch. So we've got a 1-inch check valve right here. Can you see that little arrow pointing the direction of flow? So we adapted it to 1 inch, screwed all that together, and then when we're ready, we'll go ahead and hook up our suction pipe. It's all 1 inch. It'll glue into here, and this pipe is going to come up to the pump. And it could be as deep as we want, but we've got a well pump that can pull about 30 feet, 25 feet maybe. 30 feet would be great. So we're done with this ladder, I hope. Okay, me see if I can get this T off of here. Good. Got that off. Got a nice shaft. Let me move this out of the way in case it overflows. All right. So we're ready to go ahead and start jetting 1-inch pipe. You know, they make hoop houses. You saw the hoop house out of this 1-inch material, so I'm not too worried about it breaking or anything when I bend it. We're going to push it all the way down to the bottom. Should be down there about 20 feet. There it is. That's the bottom right there. Okay, I'm going to fire up the mud pump, open up the water, fire up the mud pump. We're going to sink this down another 20 feet, and then we're going to quickly install this well point. Let's do it.
Okay, this is the stressful part. You know, with every project it comes a little bit of stress. We need to sink this 40 feet all the way down. It has to get below the 20-foot section of the 3-inch pipe. Does that make sense? Because our well point has to be down into the water table. The 3-inch pipe is actually the protection of the suction of the pump. So that 3-inch pipe's not going to go anywhere. But I'm going to pull this 1-inch pipe that we're sinking down now. I'm going to pull this out very quickly. And then we're going to reinsert the well point. We have to do this relatively quickly because the area below the shaft, below the 3-inch, will collapse. It will cave in a matter of minutes. The power of that mud pump and reducing it down to 1 inch made this chore so easy. I mean, you can see I'm down 40 feet pushing that 1-inch pipe up and down. You can see all the water is pushing all that debris out of the way. We're making an area that we're able to send the well point down below the 3-inch pipe. So I'm just letting it run. And you see I sprung a leak there with the hose. That made it kind of fun. But, you know, it's all part of when you're working. Things happen. Let's go ahead and pull this pipe out of here. I'm going to go shut the pump off. Let's pull this 1-inch pipe out. And then we're going to go ahead and insert the well point.
We sprung a leak, but that's okay. I've got another hose if we need to use it. But let's just see. Let's get this out. What I'm going to do, put this down in here, then we'll clamp it off so we don't lose it. And then we'll put that 20 feet on there. Okay, now I'm just going to glue this piece on, or try anyways. Be nice to have an extra hand, right? It's hard to do with one hand. I might have waited too long. Nice. Very nice. We lock it down. There we go. Okay, let me go get the pump and we'll see if we can get water up out of here. Pretty sure we can. So let's get that pump and try it out. Okay, sorry to take another short break. Got to find some parts here real quick. Now we just need a measurement from here to here, and probably could just use these.
This pump is an old EverBuilt, and it was an old pump that I replaced from a previous well, and it's been sitting in the shed for about a year. Now what I'm doing is connecting the suction line, the inlet line. This is from the well point into the pump. Remember, this is 1-inch pipe. All we need to do is glue this up, make that connection, and we're almost ready to kick this pump on. Really excited at this point. I think hopefully you are too. Did we hit the water? Are we going to be able to pull water out of the ground and get free water? Of all the projects that you do around your house, this is one of the best ones. It's the most fun and most rewarding. Did you hit water? Let's find out.
Look at that. We have great water. Looking so good. So the pump should kick on here any second. There it goes. Picks back up. No smell. It's perfect. I'm going to let it run. So I'm just going to let that run while I put some things away. What do you think? Was that the fastest you could ever drill a well? And you could do this in the clay. Granted, I'm in the sand, but you saw me. I got stuck there in that peat moss, and there was a layer of clay where I really did have to kind of twist and pound. But as soon as I hooked up that mud pump and got the pressure through the 1-inch pipe on the outlet, I dug right down through there. We were able to sink that 3-inch pipe, all the way down. That could be our well casing. We could actually pull this pipe out and put another 2-inch well point down there, and then put the 1-inch inside of that and have a casing. But I'm not worried about that because I know that this will last a long, long time. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.